It's BB and Dealey, we know you have been waiting, so here's another podcast about movies, Burn After Watching.
Welcome to the Burn After Watching podcast. I'm Borderline.
And this is Dan.
And today we are talking about Avatar 3 by James Cameron.
Woo!
The big one. The big film of the holiday. That and Marty Supreme, but in terms of like big blockbuster. I'm kind of surprised that we're doing this because I've never been a big Avatar guy. I don't know about you. I feel like you aren't either, right?
No, I'm surprised that you suggested it because I liked the first one when I originally came out. I liked the second one when it originally came out.
Me too.
I just didn't expect, this to be your jams.
I don't think it is my jam. But I mean, I didn't think so. When the first one came out, I was working at IMAX, and I was really tired about it. People like saying how crazy it was, and I was always watching the last 10 minutes because I had to like clean the room. So I watched the last 10 minutes in the back with no 3D glasses. So for me, I was like, dude, this is so ass. and then I ended up watching it properly later on, and I liked it enough. And I watched the second one like a year after it came out, so like 2023, something like that.
Yeah.
And I really got into it. I really, really liked it. And I was not even planning on seeing the third one, but there was nothing playing. I had a free night. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. Like, it is something that at least if I'm going to check it out in cinema. Mm-hmm. And like, I had very little expectation. I was actually texting one of our friend Neytiri right before, and I was like, this is going to be one of those where I'm going to be walking out after like an hour, or I'm going to be toughing it out. Like, I felt like it's probably going to be good, but I have very low expectation, and people are saying it's worse than the second one. So like I was ready to walk out, and it was a pretty empty room, so I would have not felt any kind of way kind of uncomfortable. Like if it's a full cinema and you're in a row, then it's like, oh dude, like you have to like bother people. But I had a freaking blast. And I texted you immediately after, and I was like, it's so good. You have to go see it.
No, it's quite the scene. Like if you even like think about when this first came out, 2009, that's like 16 years ago, right?
Shit.
The 16 years ago, I was a nice ripe 20 years old, just
was my teens.
Thinking that this was a masterpiece. But like I actually like this third one. It's like 3 hours and 17 minutes is quite the commit. It's just that's your whole morning.
Yep. It flew by for me though.
Oh yeah, I think it's the strategy here outside of Avatar, just for any long movie. Almost like no drinking of any liquids. That's almost like the key. So
I don't have a problem.
Because like for me, like my issue is that I drink like slushies, so I get not only bloated from the. Dude, they're so good. They have a pink lemonade flavor now at Imagine on front, and it's so good. The only issue is it's so much sugar and ice. You get so bloated. So I have to freak out the washroom like 6 times. But yeah, it's the 3.5. It wasn't that bad. I thought it was like James Cameron did a really good job of pacing the entire movie. So there's no there were like dips, but there weren't significantly long for me to almost like get pulled out of the movie.
I think the thing that hurt the most of kind of a long movie is when you kind of watching and you're like, why are we like this could have been cut out? But I never felt like this. Like I checked the time once because I was just curious about where we were, and we were like an hour to the end, and I was like, oh man, like I thought we were going to be like midway, and we were like way past that. And I think that like I've seen movies that are like way shorter that felt a lot longer than this, where it's like, oh my god, like and this thing. I didn't feel like this at all. Like there was a lot of, I mean, you have to be in the story. Like I do think that obviously if you're not into it, it's gonna feel like eternity. But I was so into it. And the big action sequences are like well spread out and very impressive. And like the big thing for me was that I would say like the first 20 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna like it's gonna be terrible. As soon as the two, like and we're gonna be spoiling some of it, not everything, but we'll try to be careful. But I'm gonna be talking about, the movie and you too. You have the two brothers at the beginning, and in the last movie, one of them had died. So it's like a dream sequence, or like he's talking to the plant or like their god or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know the terminology at all.
I think it's Iwa.
Iwa.
Yeah.
So he's connected to Iwa, so he can see his memories. Anyway, and dude, the two brother. I understand the two brother. I understand all that, but the whole like, hey bro, how you doing, bro? Hey, go, bro. Hey, you cool, bro. Like I was like, this is such terrible dialogue. Like the whole bro thing. I understand they're teenager, but for some reason they're on a different planet, and it just didn't work for me. It keeps going. It kind of like reduce over time. But like the whole bro thing, I was like, this is not working for me. but anyway, like once you pass that, and the other thing is Spider is is like a human teenager that like chill with all of them. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like really important in the story. And I think you rewatched the second one. I haven't, but in the second one, I didn't like Spider. I was like, dude, this is a terrible character. I hate him. Mm-hmm. And then he's kind of like the main coveted object. In movies you have, the cube in Transformer and those kind of object everybody wants. He's kind of like that object in this one. So he's the main subject. You see him a lot, but he was a lot less annoying after the first hour to me. One, and two, the only thing is that he looks like Justin Bieber so much. I couldn't get out of I literally couldn't get out of my head every time I saw him on screen. He is annoying, but I think it went over pretty well. I think overall for me.
Yeah, I think like Spider, there's moments where I felt like the actor was acting terribly. Some of his dialect was pretty bothersome. Like they probably could have hired a better little kid, but he's probably a grown man, I assume at this point. But yeah, in the second movie, he's the son of in all the movies, he's the son of the colonel.
Yeah. Still is.
But what's so confusing is like someone who should be more important is the daughter, like Sigourney Weaver's, like Siki, whatever. Like she's the one
Kiri.
That connects. Kiri. She connects with the earth, right? She's able to connect with the spirits and Iwa and the mother god or whatever, but she's the one who's been able to like transform Spider into an air breathing like person, right? A sky person who can breathe on Pandora, a Navi essentially. So like for the most of the movie, it's to your point, they're chasing down Spider to study him, but it's not like they can recreate that process that Kiri did into his body themselves, right? Like you'd almost expect that Kiri, who's able to speak to plants and like the entire planet, would be more coveted, because now if you can like capture her and force her to like reproduce that same level of like transformation, then the Sky People would be able to live on Pandora without masks, right?
I think it's fair. I think the two things, I think Mother God had to be on board to transform Spider into an Navi. So it's not just her choice. I think like he had to be chosen in a way. And also I do think that like since they are like the human are able to go all the way to Pandora and do all this crazy shit, maybe they do have the technology to like reverse engineer spiders, because basically it's all body's mycelium, or like the mushroom is like been replaced or like layer on top of like the rest of his body or whatever. Anyway, it's hard to say if they would be able to. I guess regardless, having him is like you can at least figuring out if you can do something with it. But
yeah, it's
I think Kiri is supposed to be like the main character later on. Like from my understanding, if they do the fourth and fifth one, it would be like around her more. But I like to me it made sense that like Kiri being accepted and like being the center worked, because there's also all the family drama side of things that like he's part of, because he's not part of the family, but like he's kind of replacing the son that died and all this. and there's a lot of like acceptance of others like theme in there. So like that makes sense. And Kiri is kind of like her lover, like love interest.
Yeah, it's like a little crush, right? But no, it's I was gonna say, like, while you're talking about like the mycelium in the body, like technically mushrooms are like alien. It's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. That like mushrooms are the most they shouldn't belong on Earth because of whatever, they're alien. So it just, I thought it was like a funny little thing that something like the mom considers the kids alien because they're of like human DNA, and then the mushrooms being alien, being inside Spider. I thought it'd be a fun little twist, but yeah, one of the other thoughts I had in this movie was like, I'm quickly going to speak about the second part because it leads into the third, but you know, the Jake Sully and his family are now become the water people. Like they're a part of that tribe. Like, I'm so curious, like for the fourth and fifths, like, are there other tribes or groups or clans that they would want to bring in? Because like the big one in this one, it was the Ash people of the Fire clan. Are there Earth clans? Are there other elements that they're gonna maybe explore for fourth and fifths and beyond?
That's a good. I thought about the same thing, right? Like the next obvious one would be Earth, to do like the 4 element or whatever, or like air. Yeah. But we kind of see those people with the big, like the big, what do you call that? Like hair vessel, like the merchant that come in with like the big balloon.
Yes. They're like the wind people or whatever, right?
Yeah, they could be the air wind people. I don't know. Like it's hard to say. I think maybe it's gonna be more about like the god aspect of things that they want to do. It's like, to me, the water people were cool. The hash people are like even cooler. That, I think, to me, that was the best part of the movie. They are mental. They are like really sick. And I love that the girl, Varong, who's played, I don't know if I read this right somewhere or someone was like joking, but she's played by like the granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin.
Wow,
her name is like
that's cool.
Una Chaplin. Anyway, it's kind of cool. Like Nepo baby, like next level Nepo baby. But she was insane. She was so good.
Yeah.
Such a cool character, such a cool, sick design, and the Hash people were just sick. And I love how menacing. Like, it's hard to do menacing villain nowadays, I think. And the colonel is menacing, but he's been the villain for like 2 movies now, and it was good. Like his transformation into being an Avi that worked for the human people, like the humans still, and like falling in love with Varong, the Hash queen or whatever.
Yeah. And
like him showing up with like the makeup of the Ash people at some point in the middle of like a military meeting was so funny, like simping so hard for the queen. But it was just so fun. I love like his kind of like, and it like he transforms and slowly changes his mentality around things. He's still doing what he's supposed to do, but he's changing his mentality. At the end of the day, he makes decisions that like actually help like the main guy, which I always never remember, Jake Sully, and his own son, obviously. I think the Ash people were like a really cool addition. Like, I think it was really sick and really like does most of the lifting in terms of like the excitement to me.
Yeah, I think I would probably say the same. I think what's so interesting when you compare like the clans, like the forest people and the water people, based on what we see, are very welcoming. They're so connected to the earth. There's resources abundant. But the Ash people are so almost like segregated. There's nothing around them that really produces life outside of fire itself. Fire is their resource. It's what brings them life. But in comparison to the other clans, they're savages, right? They follow like sacrifices, and we need to sacrifice life in order to continue living, whereas all the other clans are about protecting the animals, protecting like the vegetation and the plants and that kind of stuff. So it's very interesting when you compare the clans to clans. But yeah, it's for the entire series, Jake Sully is trying to convince the Colonel or once he turns into an avatar person, to see like Pandora through the eyes of like a Na'vi person, but he only connects with the most sinister bunch. So I thought like the transformation, as you were saying, from Colonel to like a Dracula looking like pure soy boy who just is in love with the evil
Veron.
lady, Veron. It was a wicked transformation, but his connection with Spider is what keeps him like human or keeps him like good. So I'll be very curious to see what those like next steps are.
Well, yeah, we don't know if he's going to be returning without saying anything too much.
Yeah.
And like basically the Hash people are like Satanists, right? Because they reject their own god, right? Because they didn't save them from the volcano or something, and that's why they worship the fire now, which is like a cool backstory. They do drugs and shit. Like they really like and they almost like torture people with like their weird tentacle air thing. Which is
the
like
hand
that's the
eye,
thing.
right?
Yeah. Really, really cool. The other thing, I think I think a lot of the feedback or criticism or review I've seen from people that like it, but not as much as the second one, for example, is that it feels similar to the second one. I don't see that. I understand that there's still a lot. It's still like the story is about the whales of, I don't know what their actual name, the big whales that they are actually like hunting for their blood that like keeps people living forever or whatever on planet Earth. So it's still like very much about that. Like you see a few scenes of them hunting them down. It's the war is around protecting them and hunting them. But like maybe the last action start very similar to the last action sequence of the second one, where it's the boat coming to kill the whale and then protecting them, and you have Taruk, the big like bird dinosaur thing. But as soon as like the anti-gravity shit start to happen, to me like it's a totally different like sequences. It's a lot bigger too, a lot more epic. Like when all those like they're not bird, but like those big pterodactyl all come down onto the water at the same time, and like the action scenes start, I was like goosebump, like holy shit. I had so many holy shit moments in this movie. The last time I felt like this during a film was like Dune 2.
Oh wow.
That's the level that like it hit me. Like there's a lot of movie that like made me cry, made me laugh, like every year there's tons of them. But movie that you're like speechless, like holy fucking shit, what is happening? It's kind of rare. Like you need something really big happening, and I think like I'm not comparing them in terms of maybe quality or enjoyment, but you get those moments from like Lord of the Ring. You get those moments from me from Dune. Like Harry Potter, I never had those moments. It's maybe because I don't care enough, or it's not as grand, maybe. But I had this a few times when I'm trying to remember the name of people. When Neytiri, like Zoe Saldaña, attack the place where she go to save Jake Sully, and she start like blowing shit up with like a bow with freaking like dynamite tape at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Like that was cool. And then like the end sequence, like those were the two big ones. But even like the jungle river scene where the kids are getting chased, I was like stressed out. I was like, it might be because I'm not invested enough to care, where in the sense that I'm like, there's no way they're going to kill someone. I'm like detached enough that I'm like, they could kill anyone. And I feel like James Cameron would kill anyone. Like I don't feel like any character is safe, because there's also so many characters that I really feel like who's going to be the one that get caught. But at the same time, like I care enough that like I want them to escape. It's this weird mix, but it really works for me.
Being not invested and then the movie convincing you to be invested is what, like, that's like the beauty of cinema, right? Because you're coming in to this movie not thinking that this was going to be something that wows you, but you got invested, right? Like the people that we are not invested in, who ends up what we won't say, but they're pretty big. I was just looking up on IMDb, like the person who passed away is a huge actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I too, the big like animal scenes when like the sea creatures come to support like the attack, it almost feels like those Planet Earth DVDs. Like all I need is David Attenborough to start saying like the octopuses come through the deep blue to attack. You know, it was very epic in that sense of having all these like creatures to come to support in the battle. But I also liked, I can't remember his name, but he's the actor from like Flight of the Conchords. He's like the comedian, but he's a marine biologist in he comes to save like Jake Sully in this like crazy rescue on like,
is it Jermaine
the Colonel's base or
Clement?
whatever. I thought it was pretty good.
No, we don't spend a lot of time with the human, which I think was a plus for this one. And I agree, like the escape scene, except the paparazzi aspect of like when they captured Jake Sully, I was like, all right, like this is feeling a bit too like, look at it's exactly like us, you know. I guess they are human, but it felt maybe a bit too much. I really like the escape scene, even like Spider contribution to that. What you meant, like when the whale show up and they like start attacking the boat, I was like, oh fuck, what's happening? And dude, it reminded me when like the ghost people arrive in Lord of the Rings 3, and it's just like, holy shit. Or like when the Oliphants show up in like the last battle, or like the second to last battle in Lord of the Rings 3. It's like, oh my god, no way. And I thought the whale stuff was so well executed. I can't lie that like when the second like meeting of all the like super big whale that have like legit like nose rings and shit, when this like half beaten up, no eyes left whale show up to tell a story of his people, I cried.
That's awesome.
I was like, I can't believe that he's making me that a bunch of whales and the story of how they're getting hunted by us is making me tear up. But I was like, it's so fucking sad. Like, I was like so invested.
we learn. I quickly skimmed through the second movie, but the thing that they're pulling from the whales is like this brain liquid, like anti-aging. But the marine biologist, Jermaine whatever, tells Spider that the whales are actually more, not only smarter than us, but their like emotional capacity is much larger. So it kind of makes sense that this whale made you cry, because they're so much more in touch with their emotions. So they're a much better storyteller. And like, since the Na'vi people connect with these animals on such like a almost like sibling level, it makes sense, right? Like this is like they've lost their like sister or their cousins. It's family to them, and I think that's what makes it so almost like human, right? Even though they're so alien, they're really so human based on their emotions and their capacity to tell stories.
I agree. I think it was beautiful. I mean, I don't like, it's rare that like you can make me care about like, especially like they just made up animal, right? It's a lot less easy to like make you care when it's not something that you see every day, or like, you know, like a dog where you've seen dogs, you have a relationship with dogs, like it's a real thing, it's tangible. Where here it's obviously it's made up over like 10 hours of movies, but it is like something that like he builds up to, and it totally worked for me. The one funny thing, I think, I don't know how real this is. It kind of feels real and not real at the same time. At some point, like after a big, I think it's after the big escape kind of like sequence where the wife saved Jake Sully and Spider's like, I need to pee now. And then it feels like it goes for like 4 minutes where he's like, talking about peeing in the river. And then there's like a second conversation happening about like, should we kill Spider, because if the human gets him, it's going to be really bad for all of us. So like maybe that's the best way forward. I read online, I don't know if it's true, that this was planned to be like, one, he's talking about peeing, and two, it lasts a lot longer. So if you need to go pee, this is kind of like your signal to go to the bathroom.
That's hilarious.
I feels like that because there's a very important conversation happening on the side of it, and then like it leads to like a big emotional scene, which didn't really work that well for me. But it's a bit big for the movie. I feel like realistically, it's not true, but it feels like he spent a lot of time talking about peeing, and it's such a wordless 5 minutes in the movie that like I can kind of see it at the same time.
That's pretty funny because like it truly adds no character value to Spider, because that entire like slope up to that point was like Spider is so important, like he is the next evolution of human beings on Pandora, blah blah blah, and him talking about like I can't pee in this suit, they didn't even make a zipper. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh yeah buddy, like to the pterodactyl thing, he's like, you drink the water first, then I'll pee in it. Like, why does it matter? He's not gonna know the difference between your pee water and water. But very hilarious. It not needed at all. I did not pee at that time. I peed much earlier, as a heads up.
I didn't go even once. I was fine. But yeah, I was really surprised. I can understand if you're not into the Avatar at all, this is not gonna convince you that you should care. If you cared about the second one, I don't understand the people that say it's too similar to the second one. I understand that the why all of this happened is the same reason. But you could say that about any larger story, right? Like, do people complain like, oh my God, Lord of the Ring 2 is still about the ring? Or like, I can't believe that like Harry Potter 7 and 8 are still about the Horcrux and Voldemort. It's like, that's the story. Like that is what like that is the story that we are telling. The objective or what is the important thing remain the same, right? Like the whale, just the fact that we are hunting whale, like would not stop just because it's a new movie. Like we would still want to do that. I don't see it. I only watch Way of Water like when it came out. I didn't rewatch it before this. I think if you end up rewatching the first two movie right before, it might feel a bit redundant, especially that they are quite long. But I feel like if you just watch the Avatar Way of Water in 2022 and then you go into this one, I don't think it feels similar at all. I think like the Ash peoples are a big difference maker. The big sequences are more epic to me. The music was really good. I thought the music was great. Obviously, you have the same character and some of the same kind of like team coming back, but I felt like maybe my expectations were so low that like I could only be convinced by it. Right. But for me, it became like one of my favorite movie of the year. It's not like top 1 or 2, but right now it's like solid in the top 5, and it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Like I just had a blast. I would go see it again right now.
Yeah, I think it's. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars as well. Going into this, I didn't see the first or second one. I saw it afterwards as like a repeat. But I think there's a lot of major differences here. They're not just fighting humans again to get the resources. They're also fighting other like Na'vi-esque related people. So that brings a lot of elements of surprise into it, and like the fighting styles, and it's just all really different. And I think the emotional pangs hit a bit more, and there's just a lot that you can take away from this. And to Alex's point, these movies are 3 hours long. Like, unless you know like the historical relevance of like the Na'vi environment, you probably won't remember what was happening in 1 and 2. So this was a blast. 4 stars for me. It's a save, and I think it's somewhere in my top 10 as well.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Like I'm like excited about the 4th one, and I will make the case to go see it in theater, because obviously it's definitely a cinematic experience, and like seeing it in theater is worth it. I didn't see it in 3D. Did you see it in 3D?
No, I almost forgot that you could see it in 3D for this.
I had the choice, and like the one thing that was annoying is buying tickets for this, because there's so many choices. There was 3D Atmos sound, regular 2D Atmos sound. Obviously, I have French or English as well for me. And they had like a higher frame rate option as well, like HDR, whatever. I basically picked 2D Atmos regular frame rate, and I had a great time.
I went the most regular. That like the Cineplex, there's like a 4DX where it's like you have those like additional screens. I used that once. It's not a good time.
I thought
saw
4DX was like the seat moves.
No,
Is that different?
I don't. I think you can get those seats in like those higher resolution ones, but the one I saw was you've got your main screen and then you got your two screens beside it, so you see more of the environment, which might be cool in this. But yeah, give me plain peanut butter sandwich kind of thing. I just want regular, and it was a good time. You just need comfy seats. That's really the only thing you need.
Yes, 100%. So I think it's gonna be a save for me. Same for you.
Yes,
save.
sir. Save for me.
Beautiful. And right now we're probably gonna come back with. I think Mary's gonna want to do Marty Supreme when we see that this week, and then I am personally listing through 2025 movies that are available right now for the top 5, top 10 episode coming next year.
Woohoo! Same note.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy your holiday. See ya.
Happy holidays.